Yeah, and welcome to your daily lunchtime show where we get to catch up on current events and headlines that are in the news. I am your host, Priska Agnolo, and you are watching NMH at 1. South Africa last night announced strict new measures against the novel coronavirus, and Namibia's President Hage Geingob is expected to also announce adjustments to current regulations tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. A bit later, we will look at Namibia's latest data as far as contact tracing is concerned. As with new cases, much more contacts are currently being listed. But first, footage from Rundu and the capital city of Windhoek, where the Christmas lights were officially switched on last night. Journalist Tanya Bowser was there to capture the moment as the city lights were being switched on in Katutura rather than Windhoek, rather than in the capital city as usual. But moving on to our second video, Kenya Kambowe spoke to two residents of the Kavango East region about their expectations about tomorrow's announcement by State House, as well as how they are experiencing the general public's current attitude towards the COVID-19 pandemic.
What I've seen on the ground is that since the state of emergency came to an end, I think the attitude and the way people live changed, because many people started not wearing their mask, and it's quite evident even today that people don't wear their mask. They thought that, yes, when the president announced that the state of emergency came to an end, that meant that corona is gone. But in fact, coronavirus is real and it's happening. We are ignoring it as citizens. That is quite worrisome. And I think also one of the biggest problem is the gatherings. The gathering of people, the 200 thing isn't working. Many people are gathering even more than 1,000 people at once. Going to funerals, going to churches, going to parties, alcohol retailers. These places are so flooded with a lot of people, and they are not observing social distancing and so forth. So I think that is the biggest problem that we have, and that is also what I've observed so far. And in terms of my expectations, I think you mentioned South Africa, and South Africa is our sister country. What is likely to happen in South Africa is likely to happen in Namibia. In terms of my expectations, of course, I do foresee the president and his cabinet bringing up new strict measures. And I think one of them will be mostly on the groupings, the gatherings of people. I think that will be actually decreased to either 100 or 50, like we had in the previous stages. And also, what I foresee is also the alcohol sales. That will surely be restricted, because we're in the festive season. This is the time where people go out, drink, and they're not really responsible. They don't really take care of themselves. They don't wear masks. The people gather together and all that. So that is the main tool that I foresee the president will touch on. I think one thing I also don't foresee is the fact that we are facing any lockdowns. I don't think that will happen because I think the lockdowns have really affected our economy. And I think government in itself, and I think also the governor of the Bank of Namibia has already alluded to the fact that we cannot afford any lockdown. So I don't foresee that happening because we will bring more problems to Namibia.
The nation is, or the world at large is going through a second wave of the COVID outbreak again. I think it's prevention measures that were not actually strictly followed. There was a bit of reluctance because maybe we didn't actually get the correct numbers that are supposed to actually give us an outline of how big this whole pandemic is. In my region per se, I think the tests that were supposed to be done to at least create more awareness that this thing is actually as real as it's supposed to be was not really much conducted like the other parts of the country. So my area in general, there is some lack of seriousness taken by the community. So there's ignorance here and there, and people are not actually adhering to the whole situation as we're supposed to be.
Okay.
As of the expectations that we need to just take it as it is, and I'm sure we will get back to lockdowns. And I think on the other side, given the economical situation, lockdown would mean less expenses for Christmas this year. So we must just prepare that we have to go into maybe stage 1 or 2. I've seen that the economy is run by so many stakeholders for everything to actually work. Certain sectors needs to actually come into play. The most hard hit sector I would say was now the shebeens, the restaurants, and people that are relying on imports from outside the country.
Yes.
Even at our workplace at AMTA, we also had experienced shortfalls in terms of supply because borders were closed now and then we could not get things in. So there was actually a significant difference that negatively impacted the whole the whole just trade and the economy at large. I think if we do adhere, like I've seen maybe in 1905 or what year that was when the Spanish flu outbreak, people actually adhere to this whole, to the regulations that were being put there. I think if we work together, we can actually beat this because we just stop the whole spread and everything, and then we can. It's not much of a problem that we can overcome.
Moving on to our COVID-19 news for today. By Sunday, more than 40,000 contacts to confirmed cases were traced by health officials since the local detection of COVID-19 in March. Over these 6 days, contact tracing increased significantly. Daily, about 400 new contacts were listed, including 601 on Saturday and another 523 persons on Sunday. In Windhoek, the total now stands close to 10,000, with more than 7,000 persons traced in the Erongo and Hardap regions. The 6-day totals per region were as follows: Khomas 938, Erongo 442, Oshodonjupa 194, and the two Kavango regions with 145 new contacts. Figures over 60 were reported for Kunini, Oshana, and Oshikoto. Let's go for a quick ad break, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll be right back to look at what is leading Namibia's print media today. Like almost all newspapers, Namibian Sun leads with yesterday's court appearance by accused persons in the so-called fish rod corruption scandal and the prospects that more arrests may follow. In its second lead, Republican reports on medical students in Oshakati's fears after a classmate tested positive for COVID-19 amidst their final exams. Allgemeine Zeitung's front page shortly touches on the terrible case of a double infanticide or child murder reported against the wife of a Namibian diplomat in Ethiopia. As their lead, the Namibian shares a report from Iceland about the reasons why Norway's largest bank decided to part ways with fish rod companies. New Era's second lead reports on the breakthrough at the coast after the police arrested an alleged serial rapist and thief. From the newspaper's inside pages, Market Watch reports about feelings of relief in informal trade after an extremely tough year, while The Zone carries your final youth and schools news for 2020. NMH's newspapers also include a free 12-page Holidays Focus edition to spread Christmas cheer and good advice. Assistance to people living with HIV and AIDS, the Namibian Sun reports, continues to take a backseat to other and newer diseases. And according to Republican, the satellite to be used in a space mission planned for early next year will be named after Namibia's late NASA hero, Dr. Yapi van Zyl. AZ takes the NWR on about the dilapidated state of the Namutoni Fort in the Etosha National Park. And in good news ahead of the 2021 Tokyo Olympics, the Namibian reports that sprinter Beatrice Masalingi this weekend in South Africa clocked the fastest time globally in the women's 400 meters this year. Finally, SADC members of parliament continues to be concerned about the threats represented by huge locust swarms causing destruction in the region. Let's go for a quick ad break, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll be right back to give you more news. If you did not catch up with Namibian Sun's evening review show last night, here is a 5-minute excerpt about a thought-provoking interview about the legalization of cannabis, still a hotly debated topic in Namibia. Do take a look.
Campaigning for is because we understand that the government is playing with billions. Yes. This is the billion-dollar business. And we cannot allow government to play with it. So what we want to create employment for the Namibians, because there's thousands of products that can be made out of the cannabis, but the world does not want you to know. Because the countries that don't want cannabis to be legalized worldwide, it's because they have interests that they are protecting. You understand? So there's a lot of products, more than 5,000 of products that can come out of the cannabis. This is a knowledge that the two of us and the rest of the users are having and know about. And this is what you are trying to pass on to the Namibian people, to say, people, wake up. There's more to cannabis than what you know about and think about. It's not only about smoking and getting mental as you think. There are billions of dollars
and
here.
Even the story of therapeutic. I mean, if someone tells you that cannabis have psychoactive properties, I mean, why are you scared to be psychoactive? Isn't it sounding good?
Psychoactive would mean what now? What type of state of
mind? You psycho, you explore other options in your brain, you know. And the other thing of cannabis, people smoking cannabis, it's not tested. It's not tested. All these policies are. We had a Zoom meeting with the Ministry of Safety and the Ministry of Justice and the Prime Minister. And who else?
Minister of Justice.
Minister of Justice, you know. So we told them to say that, listen, our people are going to jail for nothing. And these people who go to jail are breadwinners in the society. they build this society. So let's look into these policies that have been sworn out, that have not achieved our expected results, and let's reform them. Because now what we are doing now is we are impersonating productive people in the society because of something we don't even have evidence on. We rely on apartheid laws.
Very outdated law.
Outdated things, you know.
And now, recently, Parliament extended an apology saying that it was taking too long to look at the revision of the decriminalization of ganja.
Yes.
Are you happy with the progress that is being made at that level, and what would you like to see more being done in 2021?
I like the way government is engaging with us. You know, they are very mature.
Treat us honorable.
Yeah, they treat us honorable.
Parliament, you know.
Yes, they can see the global trend going on. The way the world is shifting, you know, they start to see the picture. Remember, we are coming from apartheid, you know, and we still have those ones that oppress us amongst us, you know, so it's a bit tough for us to focus, but they are getting there.
And the thing is, when we went to the parliament, we don't just go there straight to say legalize. No, it's a legalize, but when you talk about legalize, you need to address the law that prohibits the substance that you are fighting for. So we went there and to tell them, look, our parliament, we respect you. Why we came here is because you are the institution to make new laws and also to correct the outdated law. Here we have a law which is called Act 41 of 1971, which we believe that it's an apartheid law which promotes apartheid ideology. And we want you to change it. Or to repeal it for the benefit of Namibia. You understand? So with that kind of a message, they took us in nicely and seriously. So hopefully, because no, as you are seeing now, with this UN vote that decided that cannabis is no more a dangerous drug, a lot of countries are now rushing to legalize cannabis. And the reason why we want to tell the Namibia is that the parliament needs to rush really to help us in having cannabis legalized, not for smoking, but to help the Namibian economy. Because Namibian economy is very sick. And at the moment, only as we speak, we are not crazy when we talk to say that cannabis is making billions. If you want to know what I'm talking about, at the moment, we have more than 200,000 people that are using cannabis in Namibia. And these people are buying cannabis every day. That's a lot of money that's going out of Namibia. You understand what I'm saying? So there's already an established market here of the users that if this thing is legalized, they won't be suffering for the government to make money. Money will be made straight out of it.
Yes, can I just come in there? Our GDP, Namibian GDP, the sector that contributes mostly towards our GDP is the mining, of which diamonds is the sector there. But we all know resources get finished. We are even now, the BS is even now revisiting old mines, you know. So what I'm trying to say is the green revolution, the green rush, you know, this plant of us, this resource of us, this green gold of us, it's not even going to have any soil erosion or soil damage soil, like mining and oil, zinc, what.
In fact, it's going to improve.
It's improved, and it's a cheap thing. You put less in, but the profit is big.
We have finally reached the end of our show, and we do wish you to have a lovely day ahead and to stay tuned for a summary of today's weather prospects. Also, do remember that NMH at 1 will be taking a holiday break between the 18th of December and the 18th of January 2021. I've been your host, Priska Agnolo, and I wish you nothing but a great week ahead. Goodbye, Namibia.